The Giants, I'm not sure what they're eating, but I want some of it. They win again, 8-4 over the Rockies. Posey, 2 for 4. Dickerson, 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Yastrzemski, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Pilar, 2 for 5. Panic, 2 for 5. 14 hits on the night for the Giants. Pomerantz, looking at the game coming in, it was Pomerantz with an ERA over 6. It was Lambert with an ERA over 6. And they're playing at Coors Field. And you just know that it's going to be an offensive explosion. And it somewhat was for the Giants, but not for the Rockies. Pomerantz goes 5, gives up 1 earned. Lambert goes 6, gives up 2 earned. Another pitching-dominated game by the Giants. Watson, a 21st hold if you're in a holds league. Dyson, his 16th hold. Will Smith blew the save, his second blown save, but he picked up the win because the Giants scored late and went 8-4. Oakland and Seattle, I told you the A's have won 5 in a row. The big bat last night was Matt Chapman, 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs. His average is up to 280 on the year. He has 22 home runs. He has 59 RBIs. Could Chapman be MVP of the American League if Oakland makes the playoffs? Food for thought. Semien went 2 for 4. Laureano 2 for 4. For Seattle, not much to shout about other than Narvaez, the catcher. He was a guy before draft season. I said many times, draft Narvaez. He went 3 for 4 last night. He's hitting .297 on the year. And he was a guy you could draft with your last pick in the draft and have on your team who has performed really well for the Mariners this year. The Mariners, not so much, but Narvaez, yes. Megden was the winner last night in Oakland. 7 innings, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts. Gonzalez, the loser. Coming into the game last night, Chapman was 9 for 20 in his career, a .450 average off of Gonzalez. And then he goes 3 for 4 last night. So it only gets better. Right? Now he's 12 for 24. He went from .450 to .500 and add a home run to it as well. So anytime I see Gonzalez pitching against the A's the rest of the year, if I'm a daily player, Matt Chapman is starting in my lineup. If I'm a yearly player, he's starting my lineup probably anyway. But when I see Gonzalez against Chapman, then you just got to have saliva coming out of your mouth, right? I mean, it's just one of those things that's a tasty treat. Gonzalez is now 10-8. And considering the record of the Mariners, the fact that he's 10-8, pretty good year. Houston and L.A. Wake up the Astros and wake up the Angels. We talked about them earlier. The Angels are no joke. Fletcher 1 for 4. Simmons 1 for 4. Ohtani 2 for 4. Pujols 1 for 4. Goodwin 2 for 4. Rengifo 2 for 4. Fletcher his 20th double. Pujols his 13th double. Rengifo his 12th double. Goodwin his 13th double. And there's no Mike Trout until today or tomorrow. And they put it to the Astros. For Houston, Altuve went 2 for 5. Brantley 2 for 5. As soon as I talk about a player sometimes in a bad way, they just go off. Yuli Gurriel's one of those. I was laying the wood to him a couple weeks ago. He's been killing it lately. 3 for 5 yesterday. His average is up to 288. He hit his 22nd double last night off of Haney. And Haney is a pitcher, if the Angels are going to survive and advance, he has got to improve. He only went 4 1/3 innings last night. Now, the bullpen shut down the Astros. The Angel bullpen pitched 4 2/3 innings of shutout baseball after Haney was removed in the top of the fifth. Haney threw 103 pitches, 63 were for strikes, but he only got through 4 1/3 innings. Struck out 5 batters, walked 2, gave up 8 hits. He has got to pitch better if the Angels are to have a chance. Last night, Houston went with a bullpen game. Rondon started, went 2/3 of an innings. He gave up 6 runs. It was over before it started last night in Anaheim. And that's a look at the games from last night. I want to talk about some kids down on the farm. Let me look at the schedule here. I get to talking and looking at the chat room and all these fun things, and then I forget, hey, I may not be the only show in town. So let's take a look at who's coming up after me today. Give me just a second. So we've got today there's nothing on the schedule at 10 o'clock. So if there's anybody that's scheduled at 10, let me know. But I don't see anything scheduled today at 10. The next thing's at noon, Hump Day with Cam. At 2 o'clock, JJ Sports Talk. 5:30, Money One is Twice as Nice with Cam. Then at 7 tonight, it's Draw It for Upside with Jonathan Cole and Mark Larson. And then at 10 o'clock, Easy Kill, Fantasy Fan. So that's our schedule for today. So again, if you are in the chat room and there is someone scheduled at 10, let me know, okay? Because I will make sure I do not go over if I've got someone following me. And I have lost track of my chat room, so let's see if I can pull her down and see what's going on there today. Okay, let's see. Don't see anything, but I'm looking. If there is a 10 o'clock that I don't have on the schedule, please let me know. I got a lot to do, so I'm going to keep on rolling, okay? It's the old song. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. All right. Looking at some farm. Let's go to the farm now and see what's going on. For the Rays, Wander Franco, the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. He went 2 for 5 last night with a home run and a stolen base for Class A Advanced Charlotte. His home run was in the 5th inning. It provided Charlotte a 2-1 win over St. Lucie. He was the only player from either team last night to record multiple hits and score multiple runs. He's an 18-year-old. He's now homered in 3 straight games. In 3 games and 3 times in 14 games with the Stone Crabs. I'll get it right. My notes are kind of scrappy. He's hitting .365 at high A since the move up. On the whole year, .326. 9 homers, 34 extra base hits, 18 steals, 76 games across 2 levels. Let's just say this. Wander Franco's going nowhere but to the major leagues. And I could see him in Tampa next year. He's that good. Tristan Casas for the Red Sox. He's at Class A Greenville. Their number 1 prospect. 3 for 4 last night with a homer. He was a 2018 first-round pick. He had an RBI single in the 4th inning, then a 2-run homer in the 8th. His homer was his 16th of the season. He has a share of 3rd place in home runs in the Sally League and ranks among the leaders with 66 RBIs. That's 2nd, 151 total bases. That's 3rd. Tristan Casas, a first baseman in the Red Sox organization, their number 1 prospect. And I'm going through these guys on the farm for dynasty players. You're talking about adding guys. These are players, if they're probably added. If not, you want to take a look. And I'll try to go through highlights of the day before as it relates to these prospects. For the Yankees, Albert Abreu, their number 3 prospect, pitched last night for Double-A Trenton. He went 7 innings, gave up 8 hits, struck out 7. Nolan Jones, he was... Got to be a Jones, right? Keep up with the Joneses. Here we go. Nolan Jones, recently promoted to Double-A Akron. He's in the Cleveland Indians system. He's their number 2 prospect. He's the number 43 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. He went 2 for 4 last night with a homer and 2 RBIs. Now let me pause a minute and say 2 things about Nolan Jones. First of all, I've watched him play many times in the Carolina League. He's a great talent. Second of all, he's a great kid. One night, he's walking off the field. There were some challenged youth there watching the game. And he goes over to them without them calling him out, and he gives them a bat. Pretty cool. I was impressed. I had a conversation with him. He's got his head on his shoulders. He's got a lot of talent, okay? After that home run last night, that's back-to-back games with a home run for Nolan Jones. He had a solo shot yesterday. He had his first Double-A homer to open the week on Monday. He was promoted to Double-A on July 8th. He was at the prestigious Futures game. He's the third baseman, a former second-round pick in 2016, and he's hit safely in 4 of 6 games for Akron, including 3 multi-hit performances. Between his time in the Eastern League and the Carolina Leagues this year, he's hitting .289 with 24 extra base hits and 45 RBIs. Nolan Jones. There's a question about Robert being called up. He's still red hot. He's next on my list. He went 2 for 4 last night. 2 runs scored, a triple and a home run for AAA Charlotte. Talking about white hot. 2 more extra base hits. It was a solo homer. Charlotte lost, but who cares? Robert hit safely in all 6 games for the Knights, batting .440, 11 for 25 over that time frame, with 6 extra base hits. That includes 3 homers. He's had 9 RBIs, 3 steals in that span. 6 games, guys. 9 RBIs, 3 homers, and 3 steals. He also owns a 10-game hitting streak that began on July 1 when he was still with Double-A Birmingham. Now, last year he hit .269. He was injured. He had no home runs. I watched him play last year in person. I've watched him play this year in person. It's not even the same kid. He's now 21 years old. He's hit .356 at 3 levels this year. He was at high A, double A, now triple A, 49 extra base hits in 81 games, 19 home runs, 32 stolen bases, and he's 1 home run away from a 2020 season, and here we are on July 17. I think he's going to Chicago this year. I remember a kid in 1996 I watched play at high A ball. Then he went to Double A. Then he went to Triple A. Then he was playing in the World Series. His name was Andrew Jones. Robert is that kind of player. Okay, now, there was a question about if Eloy hits the IL, chance for a Robert call-up. Yeah, I think so. And I'll go a step further. I know Lenny has said, and I've said this too, Lenny has said between Guerrero and Eloy, he likes Eloy. I've said between Eloy, Guerrero, and Tatis, I like Tatis. But I like Robert better than any of them. There you go. What do you think, Ezekiel? DK Loose? You guys follow Eloy and Robert? I just think he's ready. He's killed it at every level. Why not give him a shot? Can you imagine? And the White Sox, I've talked about them in the past few weeks. I've mentioned that they are in the wild card race to some extent, but not to a great extent. They've fallen on hard times here lately. They're 10 games out of the wild card now because they've been losing a lot. They've lost 5 in a row. You put that Robert kid in that lineup, you're going to pack some seats in that stadium. Just saying. Clevenger and Paddock tonight in DFS. Why don't we just get to it? I'll just stop. We'll talk about that if you want. I got more prospects I can do, but we can certainly talk about the schedule tonight for Paddock and for Clevenger. Clevenger, I think he's back. I like what I see from Clevenger. I don't know what the cost is. I haven't seen his cost schedule today. But assuming the cost is not too great, I like Clevenger against Kansas City. Are you kidding me? Let's see what we've got today for DFS. I'll just go through the schedule. The Rays are at the Yankees, Chirinos at Herman. The Dodgers are at the Phillies, Maeda and Pivetta. The Mets are at the Twins, Vargas and Perez. There could be some runs scored in that game. Don't want any of those pitchers. Pirates are at the Cardinals, Archel and Ponce de Leon. I really like Ponce de Leon in that, and he could be cheap today. Braves and Brewers, Keuchel and Anderson. Reds and Cubs, Gray and Darvish. Giants and Rockies, Anderson and Gray. Mariners and Athletics, Swanson and Bailey. Nationals and Orioles, Fetty and Brooks. Blue Jays are at the Red Sox, Sanchez and Rodriguez. Padres are at the Marlins, Paddock and Richards. And Tigers are at the Indians, Turnbull and Clevenger. D-backs at Rangers, Ray and Shaw.